So for this week's main topic, we decided, hey, one of our favorite holiday traditions never takes place actually within a Disney park. Because if
You know.
that resort hopping at Disney, especially Walt Disney World, is one of the greatest things you can do. Yes, at this time of year especially, but at all times of year, right, Michelle?
Oh, absolutely. And there's a lot of great reasons to do that. Um, one of them is that you really get immersed into another storytelling or nostalgic opportunity. Now, recently we rewatched the Behind the Attractions episode where they were talking about the Disneyland Hotel because we were getting excited about our upcoming
Stay
trip.
at the Disneyland Hotel.
Yes. Um, but they explained there how it was actually Walt's idea that he wanted a resort hotel on the property at Disneyland that could be an extension of the park experience for the guests, making it the magic continue. And so that tradition still lives today at Walt Disney World as well as Disneyland. But I thought it was kind of unique that this was something that was very new and innovative at that time that Walt came up with. And, he wasn't into hotels, he was building a theme park. So he did, find another businessman that could really delve into this more. And they became very successful in that. But yeah, I thought, wow, it's so funny that this is a tradition and an experience that was first thought up by Walt.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, Disneyland, you can do some resort hopping at Disneyland, but there's only 3 of them and they're pretty close together. So yes, definitely something you should do, but I don't think it encompasses your trip, your vacation as much as it is at Walt Disney World. So I think that's where we're going to focus today, right,
Right,
Michelle?
exactly. Because there's, like you said, so many more resorts, so many more themes. There's a lot of great activities. Many of them are free that we're going to talk about. There's some fun, entertaining things you can do there. And it's really a special way to spend a non park day. So if you are having an extended stay and you don't want to necessarily pay for park tickets every day, this is something that you can do that you're not buying another park ticket for.
Right. And I think we've talked about this many times, and we will continue to sell this on you today during this show, because if you know that you should take a day out of your Disney vacation just to resort hop, especially during this time of year, but any time of year, it's really worth your time to kind of just maybe take a step back from your park experiences and enjoy all the unique, interesting, different offerings at so many of the different Walt Disney World resorts.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, the holiday time is prime for doing this. But as you said, any time of year, and it's a fun thing that even locals can do, so.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and get to it. Michelle, what are we talking about?
Well, first I felt like it's important to talk about some of the practical tips or the approaches you can do this, because it can get to be overwhelming. If you're thinking, oh, I need a car, or what do I do if I don't have a car? We can talk about that, because transportation obviously is, one of the biggest issues when you're talking about hotel hopping. And, if you don't have like a dining reservations, you cannot park, generally speaking, at these resorts. So how do you get there? So we're going to talk about that. I also want to, focus on what's the best time of day. And actually, any time of day can be the best time of day. Like you might want to do an early day. So start your day off there with some snacks, or, maybe some breakfast at one location, and then some light activities or light dishes at other ones. Midday, maybe you want to snack around a lot of places and try different foods, or later in the day or early evening for happy hour, and, do your own little DIY beverage crawl, or a progressive dinner or something like that. So, anyways, that's what I thought. Let's look at some of the approaches and what makes it easier for you to do that. And so the first thing that I think we need to talk about is how to do that. And one of the ways is really through batching, right? That's what I call it, batching or looping or whatever. So you can do a lot of things, and we're not going to be talking about every resort. We're not going to be talking about every single thing you can do, just some things to maybe either whet your appetite or get you interested or give you some helpful tips to do this. But the 3 loops we're going to really focus on, one I call the monorail loop. I think everybody calls that the monorail loop, where you have like the Contemporary Poly and the Grand Floridian. It's the most popular for resort hopping. I think a lot of people just do it naturally because they're on the monorail. And it's nice because it has more of the upscale resorts and really, a lot of grand kind of feels to those. The next loop would be the Skyliner loop, and there's a ton. And if you're watching on YouTube, we have the list here. But on the Skyliner loop, you could go anywhere from Pop Century, Art of Animation, Caribbean Beach, Riviera, Yacht Club, Beach Club, and Boardwalk.
And we can even throw Swan and Dolphin in there
that's
too.
True.
If you want to stop by those.
That's a really good point for sure. So we wouldn't suggest trying to do all of that, because one, you'd either get too tired out, or you just really wouldn't get to enjoy the immersive feeling in any of those. So we would really highly suggest maybe 3 or 4 of those locations on a given day to approach. What's really nice about the Skyliner loop is that you do have more of a blend of having some of those moderate and deluxe resorts. So you get some different feels in just having that blend as well. Now for a holiday nostalgic or, feel to it, we'd recommend maybe considering doing like Riviera, Yacht Club, Beach Club, and Boardwalk. All pretty easy to access via the Skyliner, And then the last loop that we're going to focus on, that is also one that's a little easier to get around different resorts, is the water taxi loop or boat loop, however you want to call it. That's more something you'd look at in the afternoon. But that would include Contemporary, Fort Wilderness, and Wilderness Lodge. Here in that loop, you get more rustic charm to that area, but not basic. We're not talking basic. They're all still very beautiful and fun locations.
Yeah. So. And you can even combine some of these together. Like you can combine the monorail loop with the water taxi loop.
Sure.
And, especially in the afternoon when that water taxi is going between the 3 resorts, the Contemporary, Fort Wilderness, and Wilderness Lodge.
Right.
And you can combine those two those 2 loops as well into it. And I was just looking at this list and I was thinking about, you people that love to do drink around the world, that's great. That is crazy. I just can't. I can't do it. But for those of you that are like, I've drank around the world so many times, I need a new experience. Well, talk about maybe going from a half marathon to maybe a marathon, or a marathon to an ultra marathon. Well, how about doing something where you start on the Skyliner loop and then you do stops at all those locations and then you head into Epcot and drink around the world. And then you hop on the monorail loop and go there. And then you hop on the water taxi loop and finish that out. Can you do that? No, you're going to die.
Yeah.
You're going to die.
You'll end up loopy.
Yeah. But hey, I'm not going to judge if you think you can go for that ultra marathon. There it is for you. We just laid it out for you. We are not responsible for any damages that could come or any hospitalizations that can come from that. But there you go.
There you go.
Maybe you pace it over several days.
Yeah. Wouldn't recommend that.
Yeah.
So,
sorry, I digress.
You do digress. All right. So let's start delving into some of these. And we're going to start with the monorail loop. As I mentioned, Contemporary Poly, Grand Floridian. These are great loops to do beverages and small plates. And it doesn't have to necessarily always be cocktails. They have a lot of different other types of beverages that you can experience. But at the Contemporary, starting there, they have Steakhouse 71, which does have its own lounge there as well. And what's great is that lounge is open even between meal services of lunch and dinner. You can still go into the lounge and enjoy that. The theming there is awesome. It's called Steakhouse 71 to tribute to 1971 when the parks were open, when the Contemporary was open. So it really has that vibe of, trying to take you back in time to that period. They also have theming with some of their cocktails, of maybe upscaling some of the cocktails you would see from the 70s, like a gimlet or something like that. This is also one of the few locations on property where you can get the Knob Creek Disney Single Barrel Reserve Bourbon. So it's a Disney selected barrel of this type of bourbon that you can't buy in stores. You can only get it through some of the beverages at some of the resorts. So.
Interesting. I didn't know that. But for those of you who are interested in trying different select type bourbons, maybe that's right up your alley.
This one's really
for sure
special and unique because it's a Disney selected. Now they do have some what they call lounge bites. They're kind of large portions, but they're still great. You could maybe share if you're with somebody, if you want to try several plates or anything. They're known for like their stack burger, which is their signature beef blend, pork belly, American cheese, lemon aioli, red onion, house-made pickles, brioche bun served with your choice of either a petite Caesar salad, steak fries, or pasta salad.
I've never had it, but I've heard many people rave about how it may be the best burger on Disney property.
Right.
Again, I haven't had it, so I can't judge it. I am looking forward to trying it at some point.
Now they also have, and this is all day there, is bacon and eggs, which is actually maple lacquered pork belly and smoked cheese grits and an egg. Now we've had their cheese grits at Steakhouse Stephanie.
I've had them for breakfast.
Yes, and they're awesome. So this would be something really cool to try there. And of course, their infamous hand-breaded onion rings with spicy ranch dipping dressing is something that is also something that you might want to give a shot and trying over there.
I didn't know I was going to be so hungry already.
I know, right?
My goodness, that sounds delicious. Every single piece of that.
Now, in addition to Steakhouse 71, boy, my brain is just as lagging as my body is feeling. But, we talk about the vibes, and there are some really great places to soak up the vibes and people watch there. One of those places is the Contemporary Cafe, which is in the main lobby. You can pick up your favorite brew, smoothie, or pastry from there, and they have these amazing murals in the lobby and great seating there that is just really fun to spend time there. I know we've spent time there visiting with different friends or families. It's just a nice atmosphere.
It is, and that lobby is classic. You get so much Mary Blair inspiration throughout it. Right. A little, it's like what do they call it? Mid-century modern in many ways, the feel of it,
right?
But also with the Mary Blair hints to it. It's really spectacular and a fun place to just hang. There's some comfortable spots to just kind of hang while you're there.
Exactly. Now the other option is you can go up to the 4th floor. There they have the Contemporary Cafe and the Outer Rim Lounge. These are great places to also get immersed into the resort's history. But there's a lot more hustle and bustle going on. Again, if you want to people watch or just explore, that's a great place. That's during the holidays where you can find their gingerbread display and buy some really yummy seasonal treats.
Absolutely.
Now they have some fun treats or fun things that kids can do for free. For example, in the evenings from 5:30 to 6:30, they have their campfire where you can have free marshmallows. If you want to buy a s'more kit, they have that.
This is outside, not within the Contemporary.
Right, this is outside.
You're not having a campfire in the middle of the Grand Canyon as the monorail goes by. You have to see the monorail from the outside if you're doing your marshmallows or s'mores. I'm
trying to hustle through this.
I got you.
Thank you for pointing that out. But yeah, if you go right outdoors, it's right between the Contemporary and Bay Lake Tower buildings that you can find that. And several days during the week, they also have the movies under the stars there, and anybody can go. You don't have to be staying at that resort to watch the movies under the stars, which is really a cute little location that they set up. Right now it's running on Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. You would just have to check at the lobby. They have the activity board there and find out if they have it the evenings that you're going to be there. there.
And what the movie will be, in case it's something I like,
Right.
oh yeah, I want to see that, but this I don't really need to see.
Exactly. And actually, if you go to the Walt Disney World website for any of these resorts and you pull up what that particular resort is, they have a little link there to go to activities where they list the activity like you would see on the activity board for that time period. So that's something else you could do. And don't forget, in the evenings, they have the Magic Kingdom fireworks. The fourth floor deck that we were talking about, the fourth floor is a place that is very popular. It's not like where you have to be spending a lot of money at, for example, at the California Grill. I mean, of course, that's on a much higher level, but still, the fourth floor deck has great views and they do pipe in the music and you're right outside there. And it's just a nice atmosphere and you're with other people who are enjoying the same thing.
Yep. There's a lot of great spots to see the fireworks. You won't be able to see the projections hardly at all, if at all. But you will get a really great view of the fireworks. And again, with the soundtrack that accompanies it.
Right. All right. So the next monorail stop is the Polynesian Village. And well, it's actually after the transportation and ticket center stop. But this too has a lot of fun available activities and super immersive feel. When you're into that lobby at the Great Ceremonial Hall, you really feel like you're transported to the tropics, and it is just so special. They have that giant statue of Maui, and don't think of Moana's Maui, but like a tiki god Maui. And during the holidays, he's a little festive and dressed up as well. So, and the flowers, the orchids, it is just so unique and amazing how you can feel like you've been taken away, your stresses are melting away, and it's just a great experience.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the great resorts just to walk around outside in the evenings as the tiki torches are lit, and just kind of just cruise around the resort and walk and explore. And it's just yes, the vibe is like you have been transported right into a middle of a Polynesian village somewhere.
Now, we've talked about, like we did over at the Poly, some places where you can enjoy some themed cocktails and small plates, and the Poly has you covered here. So first is the Tambu Lounge, which is right inside of the main ceremonial hall there. And not only do they dole out the best Mai Tais, but their Lapu Lapu, which is a tropical concoction served in a pineapple. But if you're really adventurous, you might want to try the back scratcher that actually comes with a back scratcher. And as I mentioned, small plates, well, they have a lot of very themed small plates there. It's also, they have the noodles that you can get at Ohana's, which people love, but also a secret thing that's not on the menu, but you can ask for, is the bread pudding from Ohana that they serve there. And also at this lounge, they have a lot of Hawaiian source beers. So really nice, unique location.
Right. It can be a little tight and a little bit tough to get into because there's also the sitting area, like the waiting area for those that are waiting to get into Ohana. So it can be a little bit confusing.
Yeah, especially certain times of day.
Right. But if you can find a location to sit, you can also grab things and head down to other parts of the lobby itself and enjoy them there.
Right. Now there's Trader Sam's, which has the two portions. They have the Grog Grotto.
Which is the enchanted room.
Right. And if you really want to do that, our recommendation is, start getting in line there in front of it between 2 and 3 o'clock in the afternoon. If you really want to make sure you get a spot there, because they don't take reservations at there. But if you don't get a spot there, they do have the Trader Sam's Tiki Terrace, which is outdoors. Granted, it's not the same kitschiness, but it does have its own Polynesian charm. And they do have live entertainment there. And it is still really nice and relaxing and yet fun.
Yeah, you get the same food and drink, but you just don't get the enchanted extras that you get from inside the grotto itself. So if you can't get in there, it's an okay substitute. If you're just looking to have a nice cocktail, a nice small plate of some sort. And then yes, does have some Polynesian entertainment there.
Right.
Like you mentioned, there's usually a singer there strumming along, sometimes on the ukulele or
Right.
guitar. And singing, and it is a really cool vibe. It's not the same
Right.
as getting in, but it is a cool vibe. And sometimes it's a better vibe for some people. Some people don't want everything that goes along with getting into the grotto.
Right.
Sometimes you just want a nice tropical cocktail and some music playing, and I'm good.
Right. Exactly.
That's a perfect spot for you.
For sure. Now they have with the new tower, another location, another bar that you can try, and that's the Wailulu bar over there. And if you go there, we really recommend you really pay attention to the artwork and the theming there. It really brings in a lot of the history of the islands, and all this artwork was created like with sustainable or recycled materials. It's just really special.
Yeah, especially, I mean, you can see a little bit of it within the lounge, the bar itself. But if you take steps into the actual restaurant, you see a lot of that going on there. And the artwork is unique and fascinating.
Exactly. And in the lobby as well.
Yes, in the lobby as well.
So some food and snack options that you can get there. Some people might not realize that you can get a real Dole Whip there at the Pineapple Lanai, which is just right outside the main ceremonial hall. They have the typical things that you have there, but they also have seasonal offerings there. And right now during the holidays, they have their, and I hope I say this right, Olumel Holiday Float, which is Dole Whip Lime with Dole Whip pineapple juice, white chocolate pieces, strawberry popping candy. And I didn't think I was going to go for this because I thought lime flavored. I'm not sure I'd like it, but they actually offered me a sampling to try the lime, and it was delicious. So, be adventurous or ask, if it's a different flavor of their Dole Whip, you can ask to sample it first.
Very good. That's interesting. Yeah.
Now, Captain Cook's there is a quick service that has mobile ordering, and they have a broad spectrum of things that would satisfy both kids and adults. And whether you're talking breakfast to late night, you're covered there. One of our most absolute favorite dishes is from there. Wouldn't you agree, honey?
Oh, yeah. We always grab the pulled pork nachos. Love them. It's one of our favorite things. Yeah.
Totally would recommend that. And especially when you could have it with a nice tropical cocktail, it just knocks it out of the park there. Yeah. They have for free activities there nearly every night, either around 6:30, 7 o'clock, depending on what day of the week it is, what activities they have outdoors there. A lot of fun things like dance parties, hula hoop games, and things like that. We're always impressed with how the kiddos are really enjoying themselves there, right?
Yeah, it's a great resort all the way around. It can, depending on where you want to be within it, you can get what vibe you want. If you want a fun, active, interesting vibe, you've got that. If you want a relaxing, serene vibe, just feels like you're dropped right in the middle of a Polynesian island, you got that. If you want your Disney fireworks, you got that right, Michelle.
Right. Yeah. Thank you. I was just about to say that it's one of the best spaces outside of being in the Magic Kingdom to watch the fireworks. You just go to the beach area. They do pipe in the music as well there, and it is really a nice place to watch those fireworks.
Yeah, you're right across Seven Seas Lagoon.
Yeah.
From it, you can see the castle. It's beautiful. It's lit up. It's everything. It's great.
Exactly. So let's move into the next resort, which is the Grand Floridian. And many of you are very familiar with the amazing lobby and what this resort has to offer, like with lounges such as the Enchanted Rose. And now they do have the new lobby bar, the Perch. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see a picture here that I took. So my pictures aren't as professional looking, but at least you can kind of get an idea of, where the Perch is located there. It does fit the theming that is in that lobby. This is one of those where you really feel transported back in time as well. We really would also recommend taking the time, not just to explore the lobby, but to actually go outside. The grounds are beautiful, and it's just really a special place to be.
Completely different feel than what you're going to get at the Contemporary or what you're going to get at the Polynesian. It's more of a classic Victorian area.
Right.
It's beautiful. It's gorgeous, but it still has that same, serenity that you can get walking around, that you can get at the Poly, that you can get walking even around the grounds of the Contemporary, which doesn't seem like there should be serenity there, but there is.
Yeah.
You can definitely find it at all these locations.
Good point. Now, an activity that you can do there, although it's not free, but it is one of the unique activities you can do there, is at the Grand Floridian. They have the shops there, and one of them is called Basin White, and you can actually create your own scented candle there, which is a fun activity to do, but also a great souvenir to come home with.
Yeah, or gift.
Right.
You can also
good
make
point.
A gift,
That's
everybody's like, "What did you bring me?" So you came back from your Walt Disney World vacation. You're like, "Oh, I just picked something up at the airport." There you go. No, be that person and make your candle special for somebody.
Good point. So, all right. So now we're going to move into the next loop, which is the Skyliner loop, and so for this loop, not going to go into a ton of detail. Like we mentioned before, there are so many resorts that you can try, and they all have great feels, whether you're talking Caribbean or the big, bold art of animation, theming, etc. There's so much to do. But we're going to really focus, since we're talking a lot about the holidays, is our recommendations like the Yacht and Beach Club, and how they have some amazing things there as well. But again, you got to do what's you. So explore what's on the Skyliner loop and pick the ones that you find to be most enjoyable for your taste, and whether you're talking the holidays, because they all do great jobs in the holidays. In fact, the color scheming is very different and unique, and that's another thing that you can really enjoy at these things. But let's talk about the Yacht Club and Beach Club.
By the way, before you get to that, I just wanted to mention, not only are these on the Skyliner loop, but they can also be considered on the Friendship boat loop as well. If you don't want to go on the Skyliner, these are all on the Friendship boats as well. That's another way to get there. And you can walk to many of these resorts as well. Not the Riviera, not Pop, not Art of Animation, but several of these that are lie between Epcot and Disney's Hollywood Studios. You can either walk to or hop on a Friendship boat. So sorry, I just wanted
I'm glad you pointed that out. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
So Yacht and Beach Club are actually adjacent to each other. They both have theming related to the seas, but very different. One is more nautical, one is more beachy, I guess, because it's called Beach Club. So it's fun to explore both of them because, again, they really have different feels, different vibes to them.
They're similar but different.
Right. The shape or layouts of the lobbies are similar, but the decor and the color schemes are very unique to each other. The Beach Club is one that's known for their life-size gingerbread carousel, which is amazing.
At this time of year, you got to check it out. If you want something unique for your holiday time, the gingerbread carousel is something you want to see, and you want to get a picture by.
Right. Now, all of these places, like the other loops, will have, they have lounges that have great drinks and small plates and things like that. So we don't want to get repetitive. If you're going to explore what they have. One thing we will point out at Beaches and Cream, if you don't get a reservation or don't want a reservation inside that restaurant, they do have an external window where you can get some things, not everything that's on the menu, but that you can get, cones, or you can get ice cream or shakes, even some of the ones that are a little boozy.
Yes, which we've done. We've done the boozy shake from the Beaches and Cream window as we were walking around and exploring that resort.
Right, exactly. So if you're over there in that area, we'd also recommend going over to the Boardwalk Inn. That is a beautiful location as well. Great color schemes. They do have some shops and dining over there, as well as within the resort itself.
Lots outside on the water, on that area where the boats go by. But yes, they even have some within that you might want to explore as well.
Right. Now, if you're over there and you want to take one stop over to the Riviera Resort on the Skyliner, that's a great location, really quaint. When you go in the lobby, it's smaller. It's not grand like you would think of the Polly's or the Grand Floridian, but it is beautiful, and you get that feel of the Riviera, very European feels, a lot of great artwork, a lot of nooks and crannies, great seating areas there that are typically not being used. And you can find some really great treasures of things that they have brought there, like things that are either photos of Walt and Lillian, or maybe some of the books and things that were in his museum.
You also are going to want to stop as you're exiting the Skyliner or heading towards the Skyliner and stop and see the mosaics. There's, as you're walking into the grounds, the outer ground, well, the inside grounds, not up at the parking lot, the inner grounds. You'll walk through an entryway, and there's these beautiful, beautiful mosaics that are tied with Peter Pan. They're tied with Tangled. They're really, really stunning and beautiful. And you're going to want to take them. Yeah. And they go all the way over your head, and they completely loop around. They're worth just stopping off the Skyliner just to check those out. But there's so many other things to see at the Riviera as well.
And one little thing that going to sound weird, maybe TMI, but they do, if you're not staying there, but you do have to go to the restroom, they have beautiful restrooms there. And they actually pipe in music from different classic Disney movies, but in European languages. So you might hear, some songs in French or Italian.
Anything that's on the Mediterranean, because that's really where they're focused with the Riviera, is the Mediterranean.
It's just really such a nice touch that, really they thought of that even in the restroom, to have that kind of music piped in and really keep that bubble, that immersive feeling in there. It's just amazing.
And those grounds are one of my favorites. I mean, I think the Poly is probably number one for me as far as just getting out and walking around or sitting and relaxing and enjoying. Riviera is very high on my list as far as one of those that you want to just kind of find a spot and sit and people watch or just enjoy the area around you. It's really, really great spot.
Yes. They have that great pastry shop that's right next to, again, this one little nook. It's a library kind of setup that you can, pick up, whether it's some pastries or coffees or even some alcoholic beverages, and go have a seat and just feel like, wow, this is, such a sweet spot.
Yeah, we've sat in there, we've grabbed a glass of wine, we've grabbed a croissant, and we've sat in there and just enjoyed. They also have like cheese, like a charcuterie board that you can get, a glass of wine, charcuterie board, and just sitting there. It's a really nice place to. It's not big,
right?
It's not very large at all, but if you can find a good spot to sit in there, and oftentimes there are, it's worth relaxing for a little bit while you're visiting.
Right, and one of their bars is the
Bar Riva.
Bar Riva, thank you. Is actually outdoors by the pool area, but you don't have to go into the pool area, so it's not like you can't get into it. And they have some amazing dishes there, some small plates that are really unique and yummy.
Yeah, fantastic drinks there as well. And the food, was it Piero Plato? I believe that's the name of the quick service place there. That has really good food as well.
Yes. And you'll want to get the Riviera cookies.
Yeah, you want to get we thought it was crazy at first when we saw that. Now we need to get them every single time we go there. Yeah.
They are amazing. So, all right. So let's get into the last loop that we're going to talk about today. And that's the water taxi or boat loop. And this one includes, as we mentioned before, Contemporary, Wilderness Lodge, and Fort Wilderness. Now, if I'm not mistaken, honey, I think this would be your preferred loop, right?
Well, I'm just one who loves I love all those resorts. I love every single one of them for different reasons. But I also love those little boats. Like I could just, like Scott loves it. He could just be on the monorail all day. I can just cruise around those little boats all day. Just give me I don't think you can take a drink on board, but if I could take a drink on board,
I know,
you would probably never get me off of one of those, because they are really, really, I just love the vibe. I love it on a warm day, how it feels cooler, the breeze, and then, off of the water there at Bay Lake. I just love it. And so I just love being able to take that route to head to those different resorts.
It's true.
They're some of my favorites, as I mentioned.
Agreed. Now, the boat leaving from the Contemporary, or leaving to and from the Contemporary, doesn't start till usually around 3:00 in the afternoon. So that's something to consider. If you want to start earlier, you can still visit Wilderness Lodge and Fort Wilderness, and then maybe pick up the Contemporary last or later.
And also know that those boats that take you specifically between those three resorts are very weather reliant. Like, if there's lightning in the area, those boats aren't running.
Right. They're smaller.
Yeah, because they're smaller boats and you're more out and exposed within them. I mean, you still get covering and everything, but you're more exposed. So they won't, if the winds are too high or there's lightning in the area, they're going to shut those down until that clears out. So know that going in as well.
Yes. I mean, your other option, it would be to take the larger boats in that area, but you'd be transferring to and from Magic Kingdom.
Right. So it's an extra trip and an extra amount of wait time.
Yeah. Now, and I'm not sure what the schedules are. You can check on the app, but sometimes I think the larger boats may do somewhat of a loop of going like to Wilderness Lodge and Fort Wilderness, especially if Magic Kingdom.
If there are weather-related issues where they may not be, they're probably not stopping at the Contemporary, because anybody who's at Magic Kingdom can walk to the Contemporary, or you can take the monorail one way or the other. But if you need to get to both Fort Wilderness and Wilderness Lodge, sometimes, when that other boat isn't running, those are ways you can get there as well.
Exactly. All right, we've already talked about the Contemporary, so we're not going to do that, but let's explore the other two, starting with Fort Wilderness. Now, when you take the boat over there, it brings you to what's called the settlement area. And this is kind of like a hub. They have a great store called the Settlement Trading Post. And you can get some really unique items there because it includes provisions for people who are camping at the campgrounds there. So it has some food and camping supplies, including moonshine. But they also have some really fun, unique Fort Wilderness themed specific resort souvenirs. So that's fun.
If you love Chip and Dale, you're going to want to go there to stop by and look at the merchandise, because they have unique Chip and Dale, because they're kind of almost the mascots for that resort for many reasons.
True.
So if you're looking for something different, Chip and Dale, that you haven't seen in the parks, stop by there.
That's a great recommendation. Here's where they have Pioneer Hall, where the Hoop-de-Doo musical review is held. So if you're going there, that's one of your ways to get there. They have Trails End, which is a quick service restaurant that has some of the best, in our humble opinion, fried chicken.
Definitely a Disney Parks for sure.
Yes. Crockett's Tavern is there, and they have the Tri-Circle D stable, where you can see the Walt Disney World horses and where they live. And they also have horse-drawn carriages and wagon-style hay rides there. Here's a picture we took when we were just walking around the resort, and it was interesting that this wagon ride only had a few people on there. I know different times of the day or year it could be busier, especially around the holidays, because that's really popular. But you can do a horse-drawn carriage or, like I said, this wagon-style hay ride.
There is a fee for that, by the way. You do have to pay for that. It's not just, if you're there, you get to go on this. You do have to pay extra for it. But it's a unique way to see some of the grounds. And like Michelle mentioned, during the holidays, it's pretty popular because the way the guests decorate there. I'm sure you're going to get into that here in a moment.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. So it's a way to be able to catch that and see that. The other way that you can do that is by just hopping on one of the buses right there at the settlement and go to any of the loops where they're, where the campers. I mean, they also decorate the cabins, people who stay at the cabins, but the people who are staying at the campground for the holidays, it's incredible what they do. The amount of time, effort, and supplies that they bring for decorating is just so unique. I mean, you think about maybe in your neighborhood walking around or driving around and seeing things. Well, this is like nothing else. It's just crazy how many people do decorate, and they love it. But like I said, you could just take one of the buses, stop at any of the loops there that they have, and just go walking around and talking to them. Again, people have set this up because they're really proud of what they've done. They're very interested in having a chat with anybody who comes by. So take that opportunity during the holidays.
Yeah, and you don't even need to actually, I mean, you can take the buses if you want to limit a little bit of your walking there, but you can, it's not that far from where the settlement is to where these loops begin. and you can start walking around them. Just keep your bearings as where you are within the resort, so you know how to get back to where you came from. But you can always ask, and people will direct you, or find the bus stop, which is always at the end of each loop. But that's another way. You don't, and yes, you can wait and hop on the buses and stop at different locations. Absolutely. But you can just walk around the resort, which is it's an amazing resort just to walk around and explore.
Right. Even just in the settlement area of the buildings, how they're decorated there is just beautiful.
Well, there's an area right outside of the settlement that a lot of people, that maybe they don't have enough space for all their inflatable decorations or whatever. Well, there'll just be this huge line of inflatable decorations just right outside the settlement. Like if you just start venturing off the grounds, you'll find those there. This isn't even counting everybody that has all their stuff in their campgrounds proper. This is true. It's another great place to just, even if you don't want to go all the way in, just go to the edge and check them all out there.
That's a good point. I mean, you can tell, well, I guess we can tell because we've been there multiple years, that there are some people who consistently go during the holidays because you see some of the same decorations. They may add some things or take some things away, but the basic of what they have there is there from year to year.
And they're also in the same spot every year. It's like, this is their thing. Like, we know we're going to be here this year. We're going to be here next year. We're going to be for the next 10, 15, 20 years at this spot. Probably started with a couple inflatables, and now they've got this whole campground filled with Star Wars characters in Santa outfits.
It's incredible. Yeah. So now, one of the things I mentioned, we're talking about some activities, is I mentioned the Circle D Ranch that they have at the settlement area, because they have two parts. So the settlement is where they have the stable. And as I mentioned, that's where the animals live. But you can actually talk to the caregivers of the horses, because those cast members are really proud of what they do and all that they do to take care of these horses that you see anywhere throughout Walt Disney World.
Right. You may have seen it on, The Magic of Disney's Animal Kingdom, if you've seen that on Disney Plus. Yes, it's not Animal Kingdom, but they do explore the animals outside of Animal Kingdom as well. And one of the places they visit during that is the Circle D Ranch, where you see many of the horses that are pulling things up and down Main Street, USA, pulling Cinderella's carrot, so forth. You can visit them all right there.
Exactly. Fun fact also there is the horse-drawn musical instrument that Walt Disney himself purchased for the Mickey Mouse Club circus parade that was at Disneyland Park briefly in the 1950s. So that lives there.
Cool.
So yeah,
a bit of history.
Yes. Now we mentioned that they have the lounge and the quick service menu there, a quick service restaurant there. They actually have a porch area throughout those two, because they're adjacent to each other. And this may sound hokey, but it's a great place to sit a spell. And they have rocking chairs, and it's just such a relaxing vibe.
Yeah.
And in fact, when you talk to the cast members, any of the cast members that work at Fort Wilderness, they'll tell you the reason they work there and that they stay there is because of the vibe.
Yeah, and the entire grounds. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely a great vibe on that porch. A little bit different right now because there's construction going on next door as they build Lakeshore. Was it Lakeshore Lounge or Lakeshore Lodge?
Lodge, yeah.
Yes, that's coming. So there's a little bit of that going on. But outside of that, just a great space to sit and, like you said, sit a spell.
Yeah.
If you can get a rocking chair, great. There's a window there where you can get a nice cocktail and just sit out and enjoy and take everything in.
Yeah.
That's worth $1 million right there.
It is. It's amazing because, I mean, even just you'll sit there and you start realizing how many like butterflies and, other different flowers and colors that are there. And if you just sit there and really take it in, you'll be amazed at what feels you get.
Yeah, you never might know what wildlife you might see around there as well.
True.
Because it is very outdoor, and there are a lot of things that will go around. I mean, if you're hopping on one of the bus, you might see some deer, or when you're walking around, you might see some deer. You might see some wild turkeys. Obviously some rabbits and other, squirrels and so forth are all around all over the place. So it's just a great place to sit and watch, humans and watch wildlife.
That's true. All right. So we've talked about Crockett's Tavern. This is one of our favorite places. And one of the reasons is because it has one of our favorite cocktail flights, the Moonshine Cocktail Flight. This is a sampling of moonshine cocktails featuring the Gully Wumper, Blackberry Lightning, and Appleberry Shine. Your thoughts?
Love it. Love it all. They complement each other very well. Some days I like one better than the other, but they all go very, very well together. They go from a little bit more tart to a little bit more sweet. So depending on what your flavor profile is, they're a little strong, but not so strong that, if you have this, it's going to wipe you out.
Right.
In these, for those of you looking on YouTube, you can't really judge the size of it. They're not super large,
Right.
so you can try the 3 of them and you're getting maybe a drink and a quarter if you were just to order a single one.
Right.
Maybe a drink and a half at most if you were to order a single one. But they're fabulous, delicious, and we love it every chance we get to visit. And you can get that at the window as well.
True.
Even though it's not listed on the menu, ask for it if you want to try the trio.
Right. If you're sitting outside and you want to do that, yeah, it won't come in glasses like this. But it's still something that you can get. One of the things that's nice about this resort is that they have some things that you could do that you can't do at others, which is like kayaking, or canoeing, things like that. And so something you might want to do also when you're resort hopping there is go there. Now you can't do it at the settlement. You would have to go to the Meadows location, but again, you can take an internal bus right to there and do it. So unique activities. So you don't have to be staying there. And I know we're just scratching the surface of all that Fort Wilderness has to offer. We've done an episode on this when we stayed there. If you're interested, and go check that one out. But it is just really amazing how, again, you're feeling the vibes here. One of the things we talk about is when we visit there or stay there is you still have that blend of feeling in the Disney bubble because it's very unique, very different. You're away from home, but it's not the hustle and bustle that you think of some of the other locations or in the parks.
Right. It's still, I will always recommend it to people that are looking to get some Disney time, but also have some time for family fun outside of the parks.
Right.
Because there are so many interesting and fun and unique activities that are going on there that you can enjoy as a family, even as simple as just getting on some bikes and riding around the resort together as a family, or some nice walks, whatever it might be. There are some unique, interesting, fun things that can be separate from, like you mentioned, the hustle and bustle of the parks to get that time period. Yes, you're Walt Disney World, you're probably going to the parks. But if you have a couple days away, this is a great place to spend it for sure.
Right, exactly. All right, for time's sake, we're going to have to move on into one of the resorts that I think is among our very favorites, and that is Wilderness Lodge. And that location has one of the most impressive lobbies with so much storytelling in there. And if you're watching on YouTube, again, our home pictures of this may not really capture just how beautiful it is, but it is such an amazing and unique resort to go visit.
Yeah, it's my favorite lobby vibe
to
just sit and take in. This is the spot for me. Like if I want to be sitting in a lobby, like I mentioned being outside at the Riviera or being outside at the Poly, love those. But if I want to be inside and just absorbing the ambiance, this rustic feel, this feels like you are literally transported into a lodge somewhere in the Southwest or somewhere in the Pacific Northwest.
Right.
Any of those, you totally, completely get that vibe there, and it just feels so nice and calming and soothing and wonderful and warm.
It is so much so. And during the holidays, it's especially impressive there. They have an enormous tree in the middle of the lobby. It's a great place to get photos. They have photo pass photographer there usually. And it's also a lobby where throughout the day and even in the evening, you might see a Disney character come through and be able to get a photo with them as well.
Yeah, you just never know when they might be popping in. This is my holiday place. Like, because I feel I like rustic holiday. Like some people would say it's the Grand Floridian when it's all decked out because maybe you feel more Victorian holiday. Some people like the Animal Kingdom Lodge and you know over at Jumbo and how that is laid out, and I get it too. Some people like the tropical feel, the Melikilikimaka feel of the Poly. Me, it's this. Like, this is the holidays for me. The holidays aren't made until I get a visit to the Wilderness Lodge lobby and see that tree and take in, like I said, the warmth and feeling of it. It shouts Christmas to me.
100%. And anytime during the year, it is just fabulous to also explore. Now, one of the really cool free activities they have there is the Wonders of the Lodge Art and Architect Tour. And it's typically offered daily. You'd have to check. It's usually like either 9 a.m. or 10 a.m., I think, different times of the year. But you can really learn all about the design inspirations from Old Faithful and Yellowstone, how the Grand Canyon has inspired some of the fireplace and just the Pacific Northwest wildlife. And fun fact, if you're watching on YouTube here, I have two photos. The one that's in the left side is Old Faithful Yellowstone, and then the one on the right is the Wilderness Lodge, and you can see a lot of similarities in those. So you can definitely see where the inspiration from Old Faithful in Yellowstone was taken. So, fun fact here is 85 truckloads of longpole pine logs were delivered to create the resort. But for sustainability purposes, the wood was taken from standing dead forest in Oregon and Montana.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Fascinating stuff.
Yeah. The other thing that you can do there is a nature tour that you can do on your own. You just go to the front desk and ask for a guidebook. Again, you don't have to be staying at the resort for this. They also have a free scavenger hunt that helps you find some real treasures within the resort. And it's not simple. So if you like a challenge, go to, again, front desk, ask for the scavenger hunt worksheet. When you're finished, you bring it back and you can get a little congratulatory prize, like a sticker or something like that. Do you remember us doing that?
Yes, I do remember. There's a couple of them. As a matter of fact, there's one for that lobby and there's one for, why am I blanking on the name of the DVC resort?
Yes, I'm blanking too. Oh my God, but I have no brain cells working today.
Anyway, the other one that's there, sorry. You can also get one for that area as well. Maybe I'll think of it here in a moment. So
begin with a B?
Go ahead.
Okay. But anyways, I think that's they're fun activities there, and you can really find some unique things by doing, whether you're doing the guided tour, the nature tour on your own, or the scavenger hunt. You really get to learn to appreciate, the storytelling that's there. Now, we talked about lounges in the other ones, and so we don't want to skip here. There's a couple that they have that are the more common ones. Yes, you found it?
I actually had to look it up
because
my brain is not working right now. Boulder Ridge.
I knew it was
Boulder
a B.
Ridge, yes. Boulder Ridge is the other location.
Right. Yeah. And actually at Boulder Ridge, they have some things from the Walt Disney Family Museum that have been put on loan and displayed there. Some things from Walt's.
Yeah. It has its own little lobby area worth exploring.
Yeah. It's amazing that it's tiny. There's nothing else, like there's no shops in that lobby, but it's just a great place to sit and just enjoy the ambiance there.
I'll be honest with you, I like the lobby more than I like the rooms at Boulder Ridge. We've stayed in the rooms at Boulder Ridge. They're fine. Nothing wrong with them, but the lobby is where it's at.
Yeah. I think what we found at that resort for the rooms is that the balconies are short.
A little too small.
Yeah.
A little smaller than we like.
They're not the full length of the width or full width of the resort room, but anyways, so going back to lounges, they have a couple there that people and ourselves included, tend to like. There's the Geyser Point, which is actually outdoors.
Great spot.
It is a
one of my favorite spots.
Right? It's open air. It's
right on Bay Lake.
Great sitting area, whether you're want to sit and just look out and appreciate the nature around you. If you're there with friends or families, it's a great location to just sit and be able
to catch a game. They have TVs there where they might have the football game or the baseball game or whatever you're looking to watch on as well.
Yes, exactly. Now the other lounge that they have is kind of tucked away in a corner inside the main lobby, the Territory Lounge. And honey, I think I might turn this over to you to talk a little bit about that particular lounge.
No, it's one of my. It's lesser known. Usually, you run into it if you're waiting to get into what is it, Whispering Canyon, or the restaurant, or the Artist Point. That's usually like a waiting period space for them, for if you're getting into one of those spots. But it's worth just going there just to get a nice drink, a nice cocktail, a nice glass of wine, and one of our favorite charcuterie boards in a location where there are so many great charcuterie boards. But if you love meat, if you love a meat heavy charcuterie board, this is the one you're going to want to try, because you can, for those of you watching on YouTube, we can see a picture of it here where they kind of have clothespins hanging the variety of meats, and it's so meat forward, and yet it does complement itself with some great cheeses, of course, crackers, grapes, so forth. It is phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's so good. You have to be a meat eater to really enjoy this one, because it is meat forward.
Right. Sure. And they have other dishes there. They even have a variety of a sampling of a variety of popcorns that are seasoned differently that you can try that.
They have a flatbread that's pretty good that we've tried as well.
They have a lot. They have some unique things there as well. And I think we found the prices to be fairly reasonable, especially considering a Disney lounge to enjoy there. So
it's another smaller lounge, but it is unique, interesting, fun, with some really good drinks and some really good food. And they will also sometimes have the games on too, if you're looking to watch a game there.
Right. And during the holidays, they'll have at least one or two seasonal cocktails that they serve up there. So it's just a nice vibe there. Really nice vibe there. Another great reason to go to this resort is, and we mentioned it about some of the others, but going outdoors and exploring the grounds there. They have beautiful winding paths. They have their own version of Old Faithful Geyser there that you might want to check out. But it's just, again, talking about transporting you to a different time or place. You really get that immersive feeling when you're at the Wilderness Lodge and outdoors there.
Yeah, I love it so much. It's one of my favorite destinations. We stay there occasionally. We don't stay there all the time, but when we get the opportunity to visit, we always do, because it's just wonderful. The vibe is spectacular.
Right. So anyways, that's kind of our look at resort hopping. There are other resorts that are wonderful. Like one of my favorites is Port Orleans, getting to see the two different stylings that they have there as well as some of the other value resorts. They have some really fun things to go to visit. We focused on these just because of the ease of transportation and not having to worry so much about parking. If you're not staying on property and you have a car, you can always park at Disney Springs for free and then take a bus to start one of these loop areas as well. So it is something that is very doable, and we hope that we've given you some reason and some tips to help maybe inspire you to do this.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it, but you can even do another loop we could have added into, like the Disney Springs loop, as far as taking a boat from Disney Springs to Port Orleans, Riverside, or
Saratoga Springs.
Saratoga Springs, and also why am I blanking on the other one? The other DVC, the original DVC, Old Key West. Yes, thank you. My brain is not working today. You think I was the one on cold medicine? Anyway, that's another one you could do too. There's lots of great locations there that you can visit as well. But so many great spots. They're all unique. They're all interesting. even going to the value resorts and bouncing between, all-star music, all-star sports, all-star movies. So much unique stuff to take in there. The food courts, those, and also at Pop Century and Art and Animation. If you're looking for a lot of food for a family, that has differing tastes, those food courts are pretty spectacular places to stop by.
Exactly. And, when you look at the value resorts over the holidays, I think they tend to have more seasonal offerings for food, or especially treats and desserts, but they really go a little bit heavier on some of those seasonal offerings that you might want to explore.
Yeah. That's definitely great. So, because if you know all about Disney Resort hopping, and man, it's one of our favorite activities. And hopefully you'll look into it. Hopefully you've done it already, but maybe even more reason to explore on your next Walt Disney World vacation.